Hey everybody, it's Friday, which means it is time for another Farm Fact Friday. And if you joined us just a little bit ago, thanks for watching. We're going to do a take two of this. I was having internet connections, I believe, partly because of distance, and it's so hot out here that my phone, I think, was acting up. So we're going to do take two of this. So if you joined us before, you're welcome to, of course, watch again. But today we are talking about a change that's happening within the corn plants. And if you've been with us since the beginning, when we started our Farm Fact Friday series, we did talk about corn. So we're coming remote to the cornfield today to talk a little bit more specifically about corn tasseling. So the corn plant itself is a very resilient plant, and it does what it can to thrive and survive, especially in conditions that are not perfect. Corn is actually one of the most popular grains of U.S. farmers, and these resilient plants, like I said, will do what they can to survive. And right now it's pretty dry, so their root systems are deep, trying to find the moisture that they need to survive. So let's talk a little bit about corn growth and what that looks like. The initial start of a corn plant after it's put into the ground, its focus is on vegetation growth. So this means that it's working on growing those roots, growing that stalk, and growing the leaves. And then it takes a turn and changes its focus. And the thing that marks this change are the tassels that come out of the top. So for us here, those tassels are golden and they're up at the top. So you can certainly see this as the fields start to change. That's an indication that the corn plant is halfway through its cycle. And it's also telling us that the focus is changing from vegetation focus to a focus where the corn plant is going to start creating that ear of corn. So pretty cool. The tassel itself is the female flower, and then the tassel itself is the male flower, and then the female flower is the silk. So we'll show you that here too. Focus this on here. So the silk, if you can see it on these, let me get my camera at the right angle. So there's silk right in here on all of these plants. If I can get my camera. Right here, some silk. Yeah, there's silk there. So you have these two flowers that, of course, together make the pollination happen. And in order for a successful pollination to occur, there are three things that need to happen. The first one is that pollen is not released until the entire tassel emerges. So nothing happens before that whole tassel is done doing what it needs to do. The second thing is that the pollen is going to be present when the silk is most receptive of this. So that means that the pollen will start to fall 2 to 3 days prior to that silk being there and ready to receive it. And then the third thing is that not all of the silk presents itself at once. So that also means that not all of the pollen is going to be released at once. So you have a lot of series of events that are very scientific and go in a particular pattern in order for the pollination to happen correctly. Now, pollen sheds for 5 to 8 days, and the heaviest day is typically on day 3. Now let's talk about how much pollen is really in that tassel. Each tassel has 2 to 5 million grains of pollen. That's a lot of pollen for each individual plant to have. And to put it into perspective, there are 2,000 to 5,000 grains of pollen for each silk. And it really only takes one pollen on one silk for the pollination process to be complete. So there's lots of room for error, and hopefully if if all things go as planned, that ear of corn will be full with all the pollen present as well as the silk. So, all right, as you can tell, it's a very systematic way of happening so that we get that largest ear of corn possible. The other thing is that the conditions need to be right in order for pollen sheds to occur. So moisture and temperature are also important. And if you're in Northwest Ohio like we are, it's dry and it's hot, and those aren't the ideal conditions for pollination to occur. Pollination typically peaks in the morning between 9 and 11. Usually happens after that first dew dries off of the tassel. You can also see pollination happen in the afternoon and into the early evening as temperatures start to cool off. So if you're thinking the way I'm thinking, the fact that conditions haven't been perfect, and if you are a farmer, you can completely relate to that. We are at the mercy of whatever weather comes our way. But back to the point of, without ideal conditions, our concern is that the production of these ears of corn may be less than perfect right now. So the reason it's so important to get those nice showers throughout the summer, and of course we got lots of sun beating down on us. So hopefully all the pollination goes as planned and we still have full ears of corn. That's something that will be unfolded as we get into fall and combine these fields. So I don't know about you, but in learning about the corn plant, I am quite impressed at what an amazing plant this is, and all of the things that go into making an ear of corn. Now, of course, this is field corn, but the same holds true for our sweet corn that's so delicious that we enjoy at picnics. So that's Farm Fact Friday for today. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. As always, if you know someone else that might enjoy it, please share it with them. I'd love to hear in the comments what you found most interesting from what I've presented today. If you have any ideas for topics that you'd like to know more about, put those in the comments as well. And as always, we would love to interact with you on all forms of social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Find us on any of those. We would really appreciate all of that interaction. So with that, have a great rest of your Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy, stay healthy, and we will check you back next week. Take care, guys.